For centuries, a mystery echoed across Europe. Why were Jewish communities repeatedly expelled from kingdoms where they had lived for generations? How could families who built businesses, translated ancient knowledge, and contributed to society suddenly find themselves forced from their homes? Was it religion? Politics? Money? Or was there a deeper story hidden beneath the surface of history? The answer is far more complicated and far more disturbing than most people realize. Tonight, we uncover the forgotten history behind one of Europe's longest and most consequential cycles of persecution. Thank you very much for your support. Before we dive into the main story, please kindly follow our page, like, comment, and share. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell notification button for more interesting video like this. Imagine waking up one morning to discover that everything your family has built could disappear. Your home, your business, your community, your future. For much of European history, Jewish communities lived as minorities within larger kingdoms and empires. Some periods were marked by cooperation and prosperity. Others were marked by suspicion, discrimination, and violence. The story was never simple, and it was never the same everywhere. Yet a pattern would emerge that would repeat for centuries. During the medieval period, Jewish communities could be found across Europe. Many worked as merchants, traders, scholars, physicians, and artisans. In some places they played important roles in commerce and finance. At times rulers welcomed Jewish communities because of their economic contributions. But this protection often came with a dangerous condition. It depended on the ruler's favor. When kings changed, policies changed, and communities that had once been protected could suddenly become vulnerable. When disasters struck medieval societies, people searched for explanations. Famine, disease, economic crises. During periods of fear, minorities often became convenient targets. False accusations spread. Rumors grew. Conspiracy theories flourished. Instead of blaming complex social problems, many people blamed their neighbors. The consequences could be devastating. Then came one of the greatest catastrophes in human history, the Black Death. As plague swept through Europe in the 14th century, millions died. Entire towns vanished. Panic spread faster than facts. And in many places, Jewish communities became victims of false accusations. Some were wrongly blamed for causing the plague. Modern science shows these accusations were completely unfounded. But fear often overwhelms reason. Thousands suffered as a result. The tragedy became one of the darkest chapters in medieval Europe. Over the centuries, numerous kingdoms expelled Jewish populations. Sometimes rulers seized property. Sometimes political pressures influenced decisions. Sometimes religious tensions played a role. Sometimes economic motives were involved. In many cases, it was a combination of factors rather than a single cause. Families who had lived in regions for generations suddenly found themselves forced to leave. The consequences shaped European history for centuries. Here's the surprising twist. Many of the communities that expelled Jewish populations later suffered economically or intellectually from the loss. Jewish scholars, physicians, merchants, translators, and craftsmen often carried valuable knowledge and networks. When they relocated, they brought those skills elsewhere. Cities that welcomed refugees sometimes benefited from their arrival. History repeatedly shows that societies often lose when they drive away talented and productive communities. One hidden fact rarely discussed is how much knowledge moved across civilizations through minority communities. Jewish scholars played important roles in preserving and translating texts. Ideas traveled between cultures through trade routes and intellectual networks. The story of Europe is not just the story of kings and wars. It is also the story of communities that carried knowledge across borders. Many contributions became so integrated into society that later generations forgot where they came from. Historians continue debating which factors mattered most in different expulsions. Were economic motives the primary driver? Were political calculations more important? How much influence did religious tensions have? The answer changes depending on the place, period, and circumstances. What scholars generally agree on is that there was no single explanation for every expulsion. History is more complicated than simple narratives. And that complexity is what makes the story so important. The pattern appears again and again. Economic uncertainty, political instability, social anxiety. A minority group becomes a target. False stories spread. Fear grows. And ordinary people suffer. This pattern is not unique to one place or one era. It appears throughout history, which is why studying it remains relevant today. The most unsettling question isn't why expulsions happened centuries ago. The real question is whether humanity has fully learned from them. History shows that fear can spread quickly. Rumors can become powerful. And societies can make decisions that echo for generations. But if knowledge of the past can help prevent those mistakes, perhaps history serves a greater purpose. So here's the question. If you had lived in one of those kingdoms centuries ago, would you have recognized the warning signs before it was too late? Comment your thoughts below. And subscribe for more hidden history, forgotten civilizations, and the stories that continue to shape our world today. Thank you for watching. For more videos like this, please follow our page, like, comment and share. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting historic fact videos.